The story of the Jewish people begins with a journey. It is a journey of faith, hardship, and ultimately, nationhood. Our tale starts with me, Abraham, a man chosen by God to father a great nation. God made a covenant, a sacred promise, with me. He promised me a land flowing with milk and honey, the land of Canaan. This land would belong to my descendants for eternity.
Abraham, along with his wife Sarah and nephew Lot, left their home in Mesopotamia. They journeyed towards Canaan, guided by their faith in God's promise. Abraham's grandson, Jacob, later renamed Israel, had 12 sons. These sons would become the progenitors of the 12 tribes of Israel.
The covenant with me was passed down through generations. It became the cornerstone of the Jewish faith. The journey of my descendants is a testament to the power of faith.
The descendants of Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel, migrated to Egypt. They were invited by Joseph, one of Jacob's sons, who had risen to prominence in the Egyptian court. Initially, the Israelites prospered in Egypt. They lived in peace and were fruitful. However, over time, a new pharaoh came to power. This pharaoh did not remember Joseph or his contributions to Egypt. The growing number of Israelites alarmed the pharaoh. He feared they might become too powerful and side with Egypt's enemies. To prevent this, he enacted cruel policies. The Israelites were forced into slavery under harsh conditions. Their plight seemed hopeless, their future bleak. The Israelites languished in bondage for generations. Their cries for deliverance finally reached the ears of God. He chose Moses, a man of courage and conviction, to lead them to freedom.
Appearing to me in a burning bush, God revealed his plan to liberate the Israelites from Egyptian tyranny. Armed with God's power, I confronted the Pharaoh and demanded the release of my people. The Pharaoh, arrogant and stubborn, refused. God, in his wrath, unleashed a series of devastating plagues upon Egypt.
Finally, after the 10th and most devastating plague, the death of the firstborn, Pharaoh relented. He allowed the Israelites to leave Egypt, marking the beginning of the Exodus. Led by Moses, the Israelites embarked on a perilous journey through the wilderness. Throughout their trials, God remained their guide and protector. After 40 years of wandering in the desert, the Israelites finally reached the borders of Canaan. This was the land promised to their ancestors, a land flowing with milk and honey. However, it was not an easy conquest. Canaan was inhabited by various tribes, each posing a significant military challenge. Under the leadership of Joshua, Moses' successor, the Israelites waged a series of battles to secure their inheritance. The conquest of Canaan was a long and arduous process, filled with victories and setbacks. It tested the Israelites' resolve and their faith in God's promise. Finally, after years of struggle, they managed to subdue most of Canaan and divide the land amongst the 12 tribes. With the conquest complete, a new era began for the Israelites, the era of the judges. These judges were charismatic leaders, chosen by God to deliver the Israelites from their enemies and guide them in times of peace. Deborah, Gideon, and Samson are some of the most notable judges. The book of Judges serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of straying from God's path. Section 5. Saul, the first king of Israel, and his tragic reign. As time passed, the Israelites, yearning for a more unified and stable leadership, desired a king. They wanted to be like the other nations around them, ruled by a powerful sovereign. Despite the warnings of the prophet Samuel, who reminded them that God was their true king, the Israelites persisted in their demand for a human ruler. Reluctantly, God granted their request.
Saul, a tall and charismatic young man from the tribe of Benjamin, was chosen as the first king of Israel. He was anointed by Samuel and initially proved to be a capable leader. He led the Israelites to several victories against their enemies, particularly the Philistines.
However, Saul's reign was ultimately a tragic one. He allowed pride and jealousy to corrupt his heart. The story of Saul serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition. Section 6. David, a shepherd, a warrior, a king, unifying a nation. After the tragic reign of Saul, God chose David, a young shepherd from the tribe of Judah, to be the next king of Israel. David was a man after God's own heart, known for his courage, piety, and musical talents.
He first gained fame by slaying the Philistine giant Goliath in single combat, an act of valor that made him a national hero. Despite facing Saul's jealousy and persecution, David remained loyal to the king, recognizing him as God's anointed. After Saul's death, David ascended to the throne and quickly proved to be a wise and just ruler.
He successfully unified the 12 tribes of Israel, who had been divided under Saul's reign, creating a strong and united kingdom. David's reign ushered in a golden age for Israel. He expanded the kingdom's borders through a series of successful military campaigns.
David's reign was not without its flaws. His reign remains a testament to the power of repentance and God's enduring love for those who seek Him.
Section 7, Jerusalem, David's capital and the Ark of the Covenant. King David took a significant step that would have lasting consequences for the Jewish people. He established Jerusalem as his capital. Previously, the Ark of the Covenant, a sacred chest containing the tablets of the Ten Commandments, had been kept in various locations. David decided to bring the Ark to Jerusalem, making it the religious and political center of his kingdom. This act signified Jerusalem's elevated status and its importance to the Jewish people. Bringing the Ark to Jerusalem was a momentous occasion marked by great celebration and religious fervor. David himself danced before the Ark, expressing his joy and devotion to God. The task of building the temple would fall to his son and heir, Solomon.
Solomon, David's son, inherited his father's kingdom and his vision. Known for his wisdom, diplomacy, and love for God, I ushered in a golden age for Israel.
One of Solomon's first acts as king was to fulfill his father's dream and build the temple in Jerusalem. The construction of the temple was a monumental undertaking. It involved skilled artisans, vast resources, and took several years to complete.
The temple, once finished, was a magnificent edifice, a testament to my wealth and the glory of God.
Solomon's wisdom extended beyond architecture. He established trade relations with distant lands, bringing immense wealth and prosperity to Israel. His court became renowned for its splendor and sophistication. Despite his wisdom and early achievements, Solomon's reign was not without its shadows. His love for luxury and his numerous foreign wives led him astray from the path of God. He allowed the introduction of foreign deities into Jerusalem, a direct violation of God's covenant with Israel. Solomon's extravagance and heavy taxation burdened his people, creating resentment and discontent among the tribes. After Solomon's death, the kingdom, weakened by internal strife and resentment, split into two. The northern tribes, rejecting the rule of Solomon's son, Rehoboam, formed the kingdom of Israel. The southern tribes, remaining loyal to the Davidic line, formed the kingdom of Judah. The reigns of Saul, David, and Solomon left an indelible mark on the history and identity of the Jewish people. They oversaw the transformation of the Israelites from a loose confederation of tribes into a united nation with a strong central leadership, a defined territory, and a shared religious and cultural identity. Saul, despite his tragic flaws, laid the foundation for the monarchy. David, through his military prowess and political acumen, unified the tribes and established a powerful kingdom. Solomon, with his wisdom and grand vision, built the temple in Jerusalem, turning it into the spiritual and cultural heart of the Jewish nation. The establishment of the monarchy brought about significant changes. This period also saw the emergence of a distinct Israelite culture, characterized by its unique religious beliefs, literary traditions, and artistic expressions. The story of the first Jewish kingdom, from the patriarchs to the monarchy, is a tale of faith, struggle, and the enduring power of a covenant with God. It is a story that continues to resonate thousands of years later, offering valuable lessons for our own time. The journey of Abraham, the exodus from Egypt, the conquest of Canaan, and the reigns of the kings are not merely historical events, but powerful narratives that have shaped the Jewish faith and identity. The stories of Abraham, Moses, David, and Solomon continue to inspire and challenge us, reminding us of the importance of leadership, justice, wisdom, and the enduring power of faith.